Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you those of you that are watching the replay. We're going to talk today all about the full moon in Aries that is coming up this Friday, what the moon represents in a general sense. We're going to talk about the aspects of the moon, the Chandra symbol, the Sabian symbol. We're also going to talk about the stargates that are going to get activated during this time, the chakra and system of the body according to the ancient Atlantean wisdom, as well as talk about the gene key that this moon is going to be landing on, and what the shadow and the gift and the city is that we're going to be working through this energy. And I'll mention the human design gate, and I'll do a whole separate video to talk about the human design transit reading for the full moon. So it's quite a lengthy broadcast and a lot of information to go over, but I'm really excited. I feel like this full moon is going to be, I can already feel it's like really powerful and kind of magnetic in a way. And yeah, excited to dive in. But before I do, let me say hi to everybody that's in the chat. Hello, Maricela. Welcome in. Hello, Veronica. Hello, Ping. Hello, Nelvin. Hello, Jill. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome in. And Ariel. So happy to see you guys here. And if you're watching and you haven't said hi in the chat, feel free to say hi so I can say hi back. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. Make sure you also download my free moon astrology guide, which will tell you what your psychic gifts are based off of your moon sign. It's also going to enter you into my email list, and I send out a weekly Moon Magic Report and a monthly Human Design Magic newsletter. And the weekly newsletter is about the horoscope for the week and how to plan the week out based off of the energy that will be coming up astrologically. And the Human Design Magic monthly reading comes out every time the sun enters a new sign. And I tell you all of the gates that the sun will be transiting through for that season. For example, the Libra season Human Design Magic newsletter came out just a few days ago as the sun entered into Libra, and we had the fall equinox. And actually, happy fall, everyone. And yes, so those are awesome things to get involved with as part of the community. We also have an actual platform for our community, which is really cool. It is called the Global Community, and it is held on Mighty Networks. So all you have to do is download the Mighty Networks app, or you can also just do it web-based, but you'll create a login and a password, and you'll get access to so many things that we offer in this community. I mean, it's crazy. And I want to tell you some of the things that we offer. So for one, all of my courses are held on this platform, and each course has its own private space where the students that are in the class get to interact with each other through private chat groups or group chats, feeds to post and share with each other your experience of the course. The content gets uploaded, all replays get uploaded. And that's just a few of the things that are offered. And we are in the middle. We just started, actually. We're not in the middle. We just started our Tarot Masterclass with Jason last Thursday. And tomorrow is week 2. And tomorrow we get to dive into the major arcana. And I just wanted to share with you because yesterday I was in Flagstaff and I went to the Crystal Magic store, and they have a Crystal Magic store in Flagstaff, and they also have one in Sedona. And I just love going there and just like basking in the frequency of those stores. They're the best. So they sell tarot cards, and I had to go over there and check out the Rider-Waite deck. And I actually ended up buying the giant Rider-Waite tarot deck. The giant one. Look how big it is. It's like bigger than my hand. And this is how cool this is. So giant cards that I get to play with. But the reason why I got the giant deck is because I would love to have like a visual, almost like a poster-like kind of thing. And then I went to Staples and bought myself this little holder. And right now, so whatever card I want to focus on or whatever card I pull for the day, I'm going to put it in this little holder that just holds the card up for me, and I can visualize it and meditate on it. And so right now I have the star on one side and the moon on the other. So isn't this fun? My green screen is doing crazy things right now. But anyways, super excited about that. So if you want to dive into this journey, we're going to be going deep into all of the mysticism of each of the cards, the Hermetic alchemy symbols found within each of the cards. We're going to talk about all the little images and visuals inside the cards and what they mean in terms of the connection to the Hermetic alchemy. And also, I mean, we're going to be going through each individual card in detail. And I'm also going to talk about the astrology symbolism within the cards and connect it all to basically ancient Egypt, ancient Atlantis. And you haven't missed the best part, because all we did last week was talk about the history of the tarot, which was an amazing class as well. But tomorrow we begin with going through the cards in detail one by one. So you still got time to sign up. The links to sign up for everything that I offer are in the description of my videos always. So if you just click on the description, there's links there to go check everything out. But in our global community, besides all the courses that we have, we actually have free events. So one of the free events that we do every new and full moon is a celebration. So ritual, chanting sacred songs, calling in the 4 directions, a collective reading for the group. And then we also do like Club Jai and virtual dance party, which is so awesome, which we're totally going to do for this Aries full moon on Friday. And I do a Kundalini yoga class for every season. So this week we have our Libra season Kundalini yoga class on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And it's free to attend. You just have to be part of the global community. And then on Sunday, we are going to have our Libra season sound bath, Akashic sound bath, led by one of the graduates of the Moon Goddess Training level 3 from last year, 2022. Her name is Tori. She's amazing, sound healer, and she plays her beautiful singing bowls. And she actually got a new set of singing bowls that we're going to get the opportunity to feel for the first time. So that's going to be amazing. That's on Sunday. So there's a lot going on this week. So do you see how this Aries energy is like bringing in a lot of action and a lot of activity? Well, it's exciting. I also just finished recording a podcast with Ariel, who is here in the chat. It is titled Business for Lightworkers. And it will be released on Friday for the full moon in Aries. I'll be sending out an email and then posting about it on social media and in the global community. But we had a beautiful conversation about what it means to be a light worker during this like modern time, and how to find a balance between both doing your work and living your purpose and living your destiny, and then also having to like deal with the man, and live in a system that that goes against everything, all the visions that we have of the future, for the future of humanity. But we live in this system, and we need to be wise about it. We need to learn how to work within it. And we both agree that in order to, change the world, we have to change it from within, from the inside. And this is our way of sharing that wisdom with you all. And we have a really special announcement to make as well, which is that we are actually going to be hosting a class called the Business School for Lightworkers, which will be coming up in January of 2024. And we'll be diving into both Ariel's like extensive knowledge about everything in the business world. I mean, she literally had like a hugely successful accounting firm. And so she knows all of those little details that us spiritual entrepreneurs sometimes have zero clue about how to like manage and work through. So she's bringing her wisdom with that. And then I'll be speaking to the Gene Keys Pearl sequence, which talks about prosperity and living in your design and how you bring in prosperity into your life. I'll be talking about self-marketing and what are the best ways to market yourself, which it basically just means you got to be yourself. You got to be your authentic self, and you got to figure out your unique way of how you interact with your audience, which is all found within your gene keys. So this is really, really, really exciting. A lot of stuff happening this week. And I just wanted to share that with you all before we dive in. But why don't we actually dive right in? I'm going to share my screen, and yes, thank you guys all here in the chat. Hello, Raven. Welcome in. So good to see you here as well. Let me make sure that on my iPad, I am connected to the right Wi-Fi. Yes, I am. I'm going to share the screen in a minute, and then you will be able to see my iPad on the screen in just a few moments. Yeah, it was such a good conversation. I can't wait for you guys to check it out. And obviously it'll be available this full moon in Aries, which just feels like the right energy, because also with this being a Mars ruled moon, it actually is really important to take action. It is a call to action. Mars is the planet of drive and motivation and action. And so what is it that you want to take action towards? This is a really good time to do that. So hello, Valerie. Welcome in. Hello, Jessica. Welcome in, everyone that is here watching. Very, very excited. Okay, so let's dive in to talk about this full moon in Aries that is happening at 6 degrees 0 minutes of Aries. The way, I know it's crazy how it all worked out. The way that you look to see when is a full moon happening is you look to the sun making an opposition to the moon. And so you see the moon is right here in Aries, opposing the sun in Libra. And this basically gives you the essential foundational knowledge of like, okay, this is a full moon. The sun shines light on the moon, and that's why you can see the moon so bright, and it's exactly opposite. That's why the moon gets full, and it's basically reflecting the light of the sun, which is something that is really interesting. And anytime there is a full moon, this is it's an illumination of energy. So it's like shining a light on a certain theme or, a certain, topic. And this is the power of this full moon is in the sign of Aries. So what is a full moon in Aries? A full moon in Aries can bring in a lot of energy and intensity. And this is because Aries is ruled by Mars, which I mentioned is the planet of drive and motivation. This energy can also be aggressive in a shadow frequency, especially acting without thinking. Full moons tend to magnify energy, so this can be a very intense time for the collective. The positive side of Aries, or the light side of Aries, is that it's very fun, it's very energetic, it's very alive, it's very physical, it's very activating, and it's very exciting. And the other thing that's really important about this specific full moon is that it is in the same sign as the North Node. And we all know what happens when the new and the full moon start getting close to those nodes: eclipse season. This specific full moon is not an eclipse yet, but the next new moon will be. And it'll be at 21 degrees of Aries, with obviously the sun Libra, the sun conjunct the moon in Libra at 21 degrees with the South Node. Very close to the South Node. So basically this moon ushers in eclipse season, which is another really big deal. So there's a lot of aspects that are actually really significant with this moon. One of them, I would say the most important one, is when we look at the planet Mars right here. You have Mars making a conjunction to the South Node just a couple of degrees away. And you can see that Mars is actually at 21 degrees. Mars is the ruler of this moon because Mars rules the sign of Aries. And we have to look at where is the ruling planet of the moon to interpret part of the energy, what's dispositing the energy of this full moon. It is Mars conjunct the South Node in Libra. And Mars in Libra is in detriment. It does not like to be in this sign. It feels really uncomfortable. Why? Well, for one, it's the opposite of Aries, right? Aries represents like action, forward movement, strength, courage, all those things. And Libra is and independence, right? And then doing things alone, like acting alone. You're the one responsible for like taking the action and moving fast. It's a fast moving energy. It doesn't really think too much. It just goes. And then Libra is like the opposite of that. It slows down. It works together with other people. It wants balance. It wants harmony. And it wants to make sure that it uses the mind, which is air element, which Libra is Aries. Libra is air. Aries is fire. And the mind energy of air wants to think about things and make sure that it's the right thing or the just thing before taking action. And Mars he doesn't like that. So we may feel this kind of frustration. The other thing is that with Mars being right next to the South Node, it's guiding us towards, South Node represents karmic release, dealing with karmic lessons, understanding things at a deeper level. In Libra, it's about relationships, karmic relationships, soulmates, soul contracts. All those things are going to be coming up during this transit of South Node Libra. I actually did a whole workshop on just the nodes in the Starseed membership, and actually the workshop is available by itself. But if you want to learn more about that, I recommend checking that workshop out, because wherever Libra is in your chart right now for the next 18 months is a big deal. So to know where this is happening is really important to understand what you're going to be letting go of with the South Node, so that you can make more space to guide yourself towards the future, towards your path with the North Node in Aries. So this is a karmic energy. We're dealing with karma here, and it's about, taking the right action, not like moving too fast. Although the full moon in Aries is like, just go. Mars is like, hang on a second. There's things that we need to think about, and there's things that we need to like review and go over before we can take like full on action. I love this, the energy of Libra also represents the Justice card. And since I have the cards right here, let me just show you the Justice card in the major arcana. And so this is the Justice card, and she sits with the scales in one hand and the sword of truth in the other hand. And she holds this very powerful energy where she's a portal. She's like a doorway, and she sits in between these two pillars. So she's like a doorway towards the next world, the next dimension. And that's kind of what I feel we're experiencing a lot of with the South Node in Libra. It's like the portal to get to the other side of the healing that needs to happen in our relationships. So there's a lot of connections. The other connection to that Justice card is in ancient Egypt, when the souls would transition from one realm to the next realm, they would have to pass by the scales, and the scales would weigh your heart to the feather of Ma'at. And if your heart weighed as light as the feather, then you were able to pass through to the other realm. And that's why I'm talking about it's a portal. So I feel like this moon, this full moon specifically, is a portal towards healing those karmic relationships. And honestly, I could literally just talk about those two things, and that, you know, and we don't really need to talk about anything else in terms of the aspects, because I feel like they hold so much strength in that way. So, but there are a couple of other things that are also happening. Venus is making a sextile to Mars, a square to Uranus, and a trine to Chiron. So Venus is over here in Leo. She's still in Leo, you guys. Isn't that crazy? Uranus is over here, and that's a pretty exact square. And Chiron is over here at 18, and then there's the trine to Chiron. So Uranus always brings in unpredictable things. Chiron, a trine to Chiron would help with the healing. And because Venus rules the sign of Libra, that she's also dispositing for the South Node during this time. So whatever she's doing is going to give insight into how we're going to be doing the work with Mars and the full moon in Aries with the South Node through our relationships, which is Venus. So Venus in Leo is about the heart. It's about loyalty. It's about being, you know, connected. Venus squaring Uranus is what brings in maybe uncomfortable energies, but also unpredictable things that show up that we just have to deal with, that bring in change and revolution. And the trine to Chiron is about healing. And because Chiron is also in Aries, which is where the full moon is at, I mean, it's all interconnected. It's like amazing how astrology just like interconnects everything like this. Mercury will be making a trine to Jupiter and Uranus, and that's beautiful. Mercury's right down here, so there's the trine to Jupiter and Uranus, because that brings in, that's the insights, the sudden insights, and the magnification of us being able to understand from that higher perspective, which is Uranus, the higher mind. There will be an opposition, though, from Mercury to Neptune, which tends to bring in confusion and makes things feel unclear, and makes it also you have to be careful not to make too many important decisions during a transit like that. Although it's not exact yet at this time, it will be exact a few days later. But you want to make sure that you have the clarity before you jump to any conclusions. And then Mars will be making an opposition to Chiron, which Mars is right here. Chiron is right there. And that's also a big deal because of everything I've been talking about with the Aries energy and the moon being in Aries, the North Node in Aries, Chiron in Aries. Like, healing is basically staring at us in the face saying the only way to move forward is to heal. You got to let go of the past. So there's a lot of that kind of theme going on. All the Aries energy, switching over now to speaking of the stargates, all of the Aries energy activates the stargates of Andromeda. And the story of Andromeda has to do with liberating the soul. And the reason is because Andromeda was chained to a rock in the sea, and there was the sea monster that was going to come and basically eat her, and she was going to become the bride of the sea. Her mother had boasted that she was more beautiful than the Nereids of Poseidon. And Poseidon was like, oh yeah, well then she can become the bride of the sea. And that's why he sent the monster to get her. But Perseus intervenes because he's passing through and sees her chained to a rock. And so he uses Medusa's head that he just got back from the battle with Medusa, and he cut off Medusa's head and uses her eyes to petrify the monster and free Andromeda. And so it's like the quest to liberate the soul continues. So she's freed in that way. And that's another theme that is interwoven within the energy of this full moon. Aries is the root chakra. So this is root chakra, working in root chakra stuff. So what grounds you, where do you feel ungrounded? Where can you find a deeper connection to your roots, like in every sense of the word? And if you feel like your root chakra is not balanced, what kind of meditations or practices can you do to find some more grounding through the root chakra? And the system of the body is the reproductive system. And the reproductive system obviously is about creativity and being in the creative space. And Aries sparks life into things. It's the spark. The three fire signs represent the spark that lights it up, which is Aries, the fixed fire that holds it together, and then the mutable fire that expands it. So this is the spark of life that gets activated with Aries energy. And so where are you being creative in your life or not? All these things are important to think about and ask and understand. So I want to dive into the Sabian symbol and the Chandra symbol of the moon. And this is going to give us more insight through a different lens. And it may feel like it resonates. It may feel like it doesn't resonate. But either way, I love going and activating more symbolism in all of these readings. So here we go. We're going to page 25. So here's the Sabian symbol and this has to do with the degree. So like, what degree is the moon on? What hello Lish, welcome in. What degree is the moon landing on? And then each degree has a symbol. All 360 degrees of the astrological wheel have a specific keynote energy to them. And this is the one for 6 degrees of Aries. The Emperor's Fool in cap and bells sits peacefully under a flowering tree. When he sees his master walking down the street stark naked, he yells at him to put on some clothes. This is about maintaining the simple, direct, and honest mind of the child. And Aries does represent that kind of childlike energy. This is about basing one's reality on what one sees and what one experiences. This is frank appraisal. This is cutting through basically the bull, cutting through the bullshit, like pointing out the emperor's new clothes. Potency of action when one deals with the situation as it really is and ignores the false representations of the ruling elite. This is about zeroing in on the truth, even if people aren't ready to hear it. Ooh, that's a big one. This is about being wise enough to seek further clarification versus being foolish enough to think one has all the answers. This is about being honest and direct in one's approach to life. Relaxed acceptance of the central givens of life versus being drawn into the superficial concerns of society. And it's also about exposing the naked truth, which is really interesting. And so in your own personal life, how do these energies begin to play out for you? It's how you use that. How is that showing up in your life right now? Okay. The Chandra symbol, a double-headed eagle, the heads face in opposite directions. Two completely separate identities can be lived at once. What is foremost is to be mentally prepared, vigilantly watchful, and intent upon moving straight on and not looking back. Your alter ego, your double, your nemesis, shadow, and friend is seeing life through the rear view mirror, completely enwrapped in a diametrically opposite world to the one consciously pursued. The forefront, this gives me the vibes of North and South Node. The forefront awareness sustains admirably and avidly its directional instinct for which way is forward from here. Your subconscious shadow self is equally devoted to see, knowing, and instrumenting the backward gaze, the obstructive momentum. Living along this edge hones the sensibility, clarifies things immensely. If ever both ends are claimed, honored, and given their due. It is a challenge and an adventure to be rabidly dual, a karmic crossroads with immense struggle and conflict and power. It contains a deep down gnawing hunger for resolution and reconciliation and integration, so elusive, so unattainable, and yet so needed and sought in the destiny reckoning that refuses to stay split, whatever it will take to fuse the bipolar visions into unity. So, wow, that was really profound, but it really gave me that energy of like, there's the duality, the dualistic nature that we're just always constantly living in day-to-day life. Okay. Now, let's talk about the gene key of this full moon. And the gene key that this is happening on is the 17th gene key. So, what is the 17th gene key? Actually, the descriptive phrase of the 17th gene key is called the I. The 17th gene key moves from the shadow of opinion to the gift of far-sightedness, meaning seeing further out, to the city of omniscience. And it's part of the ring of humanity, which is about unlocking the wound at the heart of humanity. It's about overcoming the limitations of the mind. And this is a gate through the human design lens of the Ajna Center, which is the center for thinking and awareness. And it's called the gate of opinion, connected to the channel of acceptance, which is part of the collective understanding circuit, which is about reasoning and making things make sense, making logical sense. We'll talk about the human design energy specifically tomorrow in tomorrow's broadcast. But for now, I just want to talk about this energy of the 17th gene key and the city of omniscience, the I. As you may have begun to grasp, the higher frequency dimensions of the 17th gene key offer a view of the collective future of humanity. And it is through this foresight that the various aspects of future reality will be organized and constructed. Every individual carrying the 17th gift oversees a specific aspect of a great evolutionary pattern moving toward unity. However, at the gift level, your view is still restricted to a specific aspect of the overall pattern. For example, one person with the 17th gift might see how to restructure a new economic paradigm that will serve humanity instead of dividing it. Another might see how to create a community network based on a similar model. In this way, each 17th gift holds a fractal part of the overall jigsaw puzzle of the evolving humanity. It is only when we come to the 17th city that the entire picture is placed before a single human being. This city directly corresponds to the complete opening of the third eye. At this level of consciousness, the one who sees and the object of their seeing becomes one and the same. All that is left is a single eye through which consciousness endlessly pours. This is called the city of omniscience. In traditional religious dogma, only God or the gods are seen as omniscient, which is a wonderful example of how effectively the lower frequencies keep the third eye firmly closed. This third eye inside human beings is located within the higher functioning of the pituitary gland, and it can be opened in a number of ways. Various yogic disciplines are aimed specifically at the opening of the third eye, and in the Hindu chakra system, it corresponds to the 6th ajna chakra residing between the eyes. Many drugs and psychotropic plants also affect the functioning of the third eye through the medium of the pituitary gland. For millennia, shamans have used natural psychotropic plants as a means of seeing through this incredible instrument of higher consciousness. However, temporary activations of the third eye, whilst affording us a sneak preview of higher states, cannot compare to the city of omniscience. In the alchemical sequence of awakening, the city of omniscience can only flower after the full opening of the heart, and the heart opening phase destroys all vestiges of self along the way. It is as though the eye can only open once the inner sun arises. This 17th city is something of an anomaly, since it is the only aspect of the mind to survive awakening. All other aspects of the mind are transmuted into the higher frequencies with the exception of this single eye, the mind's eye. Once the heart has bloomed, the inner eye provides a communicative link or interface between the brain and pure consciousness. The inner eye could be described as perfectly circular, seeing all the directions simultaneously. Whereas the 17th gift can read the pattern of the future, the 17th city can see the future in precise detail. Just as a time is distorted through the 17th shadow, it is seen as illusory through the 17th city, which experiences past, present, and future as a single eternal screen of consciousness. It is through the city of omniscience that the world gets its true seers and oracles. There is an ancient tradition that the true seer is always blind, or that the true oracle is deaf. This symbolizes what it means for consciousness to see through you, rather than you through it. At such a high frequency, the human body becomes merely an instrument for consciousness. Through the 17th city, consciousness plays the games of the Maya, even though it sits outside of the Maya. If the 17th city offers an opinion or viewpoint, it does so in order that a certain human drama can be played out. This is why certain masters sometimes say strange things to their disciples, in order that a specific opinion will pass through the awareness of that individual and bring about a particular transmutation. It is out of omniscience that such things are spoken, and anyone who speaks from within a citic state follows this same process. This is also a city that comes into the world to display itself. Sometimes, and for certain people, it is a part of their karmic legacy to hear about their future. Sometimes hearing about your future actually creates the future, and sometimes it creates the opposite effect of nullifying it. Whenever you try to understand the 17th city with your logical mind, you will inevitably fail. The mind can only hold a single opinion, either that the future is predetermined or created as we live. The mind cannot grasp the paradox that both must be true, since both are independent. When the 17th city appears in the world, it comes to mess with the human mind. To omniscience, there can be no borders, levels, or past lives. There is only the endless fractal pattern of life, repeating over and over. The same, but always new. The serpent, eating its own tail. This is a city that sees and knows only perfection. Its programming partner, the 18th city. As such, it is beyond seeing flaws, because what were previously seen as flaws were really only devices to bring about the state of omniscience itself. Omniscience testifies that whatever is happening at this precise moment is absolutely perfect, because it is following the direction of consciousness as it burrows into the world of form. Perhaps this is the mystical meaning of the original name of the 17th archetype from the I Ching, following. Everything that happens follows the plan, and the plan is perfect, and the plan is both predetermined and created as we walk the path. When the 17th city comes into the world, It comes like a divine afterthought. It is one of the 7 powers of grace, serving no purpose other than to offer the truth that nothing need to be done in life. Whatever you decide is absolutely correct and in full harmony with all that is. To see perfection is to embody perfection, and such a state is an ending rather than a beginning. Wherever the grace of omniscience is seen, human denial is finished. If you were following a path of service, it is correct. If you were following a path of betrayal, murder, or revenge, it is correct, both when you are in denial and when you come out of denial. The truth of this 17th city creates upheaval in the world. We humans do not wish to hear a truth that so undermines our individual identities, but consciousness must express all its opinions through the world of form. The deepest irony of all life is caught in one's famous mystic words. God can only come and visit you when you aren't there. To put it another way, if you want to know what omniscience looks like, you have to cease to exist. Whoa, that's actually really, really cool. You know what I kept thinking about as I was reading that? I kept thinking about the Fool card. How the Fool, like, very naively is like going into his, following his desire, following his passion and his excitement, like faith, just full faith. And there's no, there's no predetermined path because he's going to have to make his own choices. But at the same time, there's the path of the major arcana that he follows. Like, kind of crazy, right? As we go through the path, we are like the Fool. And yes, the path is there and it isn't at the same time, because we will make our choices as we learn the lessons. And so I feel that continuity of like the energy of the universe, like really coming through as a big message for this full moon. Like, wow. So the 1762, Lish says, is one of my 2 channels. Hearing the gene key is so interesting. Yeah, the gene keys bring in so much beautiful wisdom. So this is a really intense full moon, you guys. And remember, it's ushering in the solar eclipse, the eclipse season. After this full moon, we're going to be officially on eclipse season. And to show you, like, the energy that Mars is in during this full moon is the same energy that the eclipse is going to be in Libra in 2 weeks. And it's the 32nd gene key, which is about ancestral reverence, moving from the shadow of failure to the gift of preservation to the city of veneration. As part of the ring of illusion, which teaches us to face our fear of death. So, I mean, there's a lot that we just talked about and dove into, but come join us tomorrow to talk about the human design, and then come join us in the global community to celebrate this frequency on Friday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific. And all of these events are free for us to join. Join us for the Libra Kundalini Yoga on Saturday morning. And then on Sunday, the Libra season Akashic sound bath healing chamber. And yeah, I can't wait to watch this energy unfold, both in our personal lives and then also in the collective. So thank you guys. Oh, is it, Lish? That's crazy. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching this broadcast. Please share it out with your friends. And I hope to see you all tomorrow to talk about the human design. Sat Nam. See you next time.